everyone, welcome back to the show. Today, we're diving into a topic that's both fascinating and deeply connected to the spiritual side of our animal companions. Specifically, we're talking about the incredible abilities of our best four-legged friends, the dog. You might not realize it, but dogs have an extraordinary way of perceiving the world, one that goes way beyond what we can see or feel. In this episode, we're going to explore 12 mind-blowing sensory abilities that dogs have, abilities that often go unnoticed by us humans. Now, when we talk about a dog's sixth sense, we're not just referring to something mysterious or magical, although it can definitely feel that way at times. What we mean is their ability to sense things beyond the traditional five senses of sight: hearing, smell, taste, and touch. And this sixth sense lets them pick up on things that we simply miss. This ability can show up in all sorts of ways, sometimes in ways that we can't even explain or fully understand. For instance, dogs are known for sensing subtle shifts in their environment or in the people around them, even when there's no obvious sign of change. Whether it's sensing a person's emotional state or picking up on energy shifts, dogs have a unique way of tuning into the world. So, in this episode, we're going to explore 12 incredible things that dogs can see, hear, or sense, abilities that make them so much more than just man's best friend. Let's jump in. 1. Subtle energies. First up, let's talk about subtle energies. Now, what do we mean by that? Well, dogs have an uncanny ability to perceive and respond to energies and vibrations that we don't even notice. This could be emotional energy, the presence of spiritual entities, or even shifts in the atmosphere. Think of it as a kind of sixth sense that's picking up on things that are just beneath the surface of our own awareness. Dogs can sense when a person is feeling stressed, anxious, or upset, even when they're not showing any outward signs. You might have noticed your dog acting a little restless or agitated when you're feeling down, or maybe they seem extra affectionate when you're going through a tough time. That's their sensitivity to emotional energy at work. But it's not just about emotions. Dogs are also attuned to their environment in ways we can't always explain. For instance, they might act weird or suddenly start barking in a particular part of the house, like they're responding to some kind of invisible presence or energy. Some pet owners even swear that their dogs are able to detect spiritual forces or energies in their homes. And some believe that dogs can serve as protectors, alerting us to dangers or negative influences that we can't see. This connection to subtle energies isn't something you can easily measure or describe with logic, but many dog owners will tell you their pets seem to just know when something's not quite right. Whether it's an impending storm or a person's unspoken emotional turmoil, dogs are tuned into the world in a way we're still trying to fully understand. 2. The spiritual world. Let's dive into something truly intriguing: the idea that dogs might be able to sense and even interact with the spiritual world. Many people believe that animals, especially dogs, have a unique sensitivity to energies or entities that we can't see or understand. We're talking about spirits, ghosts, or other unseen presences. The belief is that dogs might act as a kind of bridge between the physical world we live in and the spiritual realm. But how exactly do they do this? Well, there are a few different theories on this. Some think that dogs can detect the presence of spiritual entities through their senses, like smell or hearing. Others suggest they just have this deep, intuitive sense, like an extrasensory radar, that lets them pick up on things that are beyond our comprehension. What's fascinating is how dogs often react to these spiritual presences. If you've ever seen your dog suddenly stop what they're doing, perk up, or even start barking or growling at seemingly nothing, you might have witnessed this mysterious connection firsthand. Some dogs will stare intently into an empty space, almost like they're communicating with something invisible. And here's the kicker: dogs are incredibly in tune with human emotions. They can pick up on our moods, whether we're happy, sad, or anxious, and adjust their behavior accordingly. So, it's not such a leap to imagine that this same intuition might extend beyond just us, allowing them to perceive spiritual forces or entities as well. In other words, their intuitive skills might let them tune into something that we simply can't. Of course, there's no scientific proof that dogs are communicating with ghosts or spirits, but the sheer number of stories and experiences from dog owners around the world makes you wonder. Whether it's a sixth sense or just a heightened perception of the world, dogs seem to have a way of connecting to things that are far outside our ordinary experience. And that's part of what makes them so incredibly special. So, when your dog starts acting a little strange, staring off into the distance, or barking at something you can't see, maybe they're not just being quirky. Maybe they're picking up on something much bigger than we can even imagine. 3. Illnesses and changes in the human body. Now let's talk about something truly remarkable: how dogs can actually detect illnesses and changes in the human body. This ability is largely due to their incredibly powerful sense of smell, which is light years ahead of ours. You might already know that dogs have a superhuman sense of smell, but what's even more amazing is how they can pick up on subtle chemical changes in our bodies. Even the tiniest trace of an odor, something we can't even begin to detect, might tell a dog that something's not quite right. And this isn't just about sniffing out food or finding a hidden treat. No, dogs can actually detect specific scents linked to various diseases or medical conditions. In fact, countless scientific studies have shown that dogs can be trained to recognize certain odors that are associated with diseases like cancer, diabetes, epilepsy, and more. Imagine that a dog could sniff out a change in your breath or skin that could indicate cancer cells or a drop in your blood sugar, sometimes even before you or your doctor are aware of it. For instance, there are reports of dogs alerting their owners to potential health issues like a spike in blood sugar levels or the presence of cancerous cells, even when conventional medical tests haven't picked up on it yet. It's like having a canine medical detective at your side. This extraordinary olfactory sensitivity is thought to be what makes it possible. Dogs can detect the tiniest chemical changes in the human body, sometimes giving them a kind of early warning system that we don't have access to. It's a reminder of just how in tune dogs are with us, not just emotionally, but physically as well. They truly have a superpower when it comes to sensing things that are way beyond the human capability. 4. Earth's magnetic shifts. Now, here's something that might blow your mind. Dogs have an incredible sensitivity to the Earth's magnetic field. Yep, that's right. Just like some other animals, dogs can actually sense changes in the Earth's magnetic shifts. It's a fascinating trait that helps them navigate their environment in ways we can't fully comprehend yet. This ability to detect magnetic fields isn't just a fun party trick for dogs. It's something that has been observed across many animal species. But how do dogs do it? Well, scientists believe they have special sensory organs that help them pick up on these magnetic changes, even though we're still not entirely sure what the exact mechanism is. It's a bit of a mystery, but it's clear that they can sense and even use this information to help them navigate their surroundings. Ever notice how some dogs just seem to have this built-in GPS? They can find their way around even in unfamiliar areas, like they have an innate sense of direction. This magnetic sensitivity might be the reason why. When they go for walks or explore new places, it's like they're tuning into the Earth's natural compass, helping them figure out where they are, even without landmarks or familiar scents. So, the next time your dog seems to know exactly where they're going, even in a brand new spot, maybe they're not just following their nose. They could very well be tapping into the Earth's magnetic field to guide them. It's yet another way our furry friends are connected to the world around them in ways we're just beginning to understand. 5. Prediction of natural events. Here's something that's been a topic of much debate and fascination. Can dogs predict natural events, like earthquakes or storms? Many dog owners swear they've seen their pets act strangely just before a big weather event or seismic shift, like their dogs know something's coming before it even happens. But here's the twist. While these reports are fascinating, there's still no solid scientific proof that dogs can actually predict these events with certainty. That said, it's still a pretty compelling idea. Some experts think dogs might be picking up on small, subtle changes in their environment that we just don't notice. For example, they could be sensing shifts in the Earth's magnetic field or tiny vibrations in the ground that happen before an earthquake. Others think they might be detecting changes in the atmosphere, like the electric charge in the air right before a storm. It's possible they can even pick up on specific scents or chemicals released by the seismic or weather activity itself. While we don't have definitive evidence yet, this area of research is still ongoing, and it's clear that dogs are tuned into their environment in ways that we're only beginning to understand. So, the next time your dog starts acting a little out of the ordinary, maybe pacing, whining, or becoming unusually restless, it might be their way of warning you about something big on the horizon. Whether it's a storm or something even more unpredictable, our furry friends might be more in sync with nature than we think. 6. Human emotions. Now, here's something that's truly amazing. Dogs have an incredible ability to sense our emotions. It's one of those things that many dog owners have witnessed firsthand, and it's both surprising and heartwarming. Dogs are incredibly intuitive creatures, and they can pick up on even the most subtle emotional cues from the people around them. But how do they do it? Well, dogs are masters at reading us, and they rely on a mix of visual, auditory, and even olfactory cues to figure out how we're feeling. They can notice changes in our body language, our facial expressions, and the tone of our voice. Even things like body odor can give them hints about our emotional state. So, when you're feeling down, stressed, or anxious, your dog probably knows long before you say a word. And what's even more incredible is how dogs respond to our emotions. When they sense that we're sad, scared, or upset, they often try to comfort us. It's not uncommon for a dog to nuzzle you, lick your face, or sit close by, offering a kind of emotional support that only a dog can give. They instinctively seem to know when we need a little reassurance, and their presence can be incredibly comforting during tough times. On the flip side, dogs also know when we're happy or excited. If you're feeling joyful, they might get playful or energetic, matching your mood with their own excitement. And if you're feeling nervous or anxious, they might show signs of worry themselves, becoming more cautious or protective. It's as if they mirror our emotions, adjusting their behavior based on what they're sensing from us. It's one of the reasons dogs are such great companions. They're not just pets. They're emotional support partners who are constantly tuned into our feelings, always ready to offer comfort or share in our joy. Their ability to connect with us on such a deep emotional level is part of what makes the bond between humans and dogs so special. 7. Fear and negative intentions. Dogs have an incredible knack for sensing fear and negative energy in the people around them. It's almost like they have this built-in radar for detecting when something's off. This ability is rooted in their natural sensitivity to human behavior, especially nonverbal cues. Dogs are expert observers of body language, and they're really good at picking up on the subtle changes in how we move, how we stand, or even the tiniest shifts in our facial expressions. For example, when a person is feeling fearful, anxious, or even hostile, a dog can usually sense it long before we say a word. They can detect the tiniest shifts in our posture, gestures, and even changes in our voice tone. It's like they're reading us like an open book, tuning into the emotions we often try to hide. And this isn't just about physical behavior. Dogs are also sensitive to the energy we give off, the emotional aura we project. That shift in energy, when things go from calm to tense or unfriendly, doesn't escape their notice. When a dog senses fear or negativity from someone, their reaction can vary. Some dogs may become more cautious, even agitated, keeping their distance or trying to avoid that person altogether. On the flip side, there are dogs that might act more protective, sensing a threat and stepping in to shield their loved ones. They might bark, growl, or even position themselves between their owner and the person they perceive as dangerous. It's pretty remarkable, actually. This ability of dogs to detect negative emotions, fear, and hostility speaks to how deeply connected they are to us on an intuitive level. It's not just about loyalty. It's about being in tune with the emotional currents around them. For dog owners, this sensitivity can be incredibly valuable. Dogs become these intuitive sentinels, watching over their homes, providing an extra layer of security, and giving their families a sense of safety that goes beyond just physical protection. 8. Weather changes. Let's dive into something that's fascinated researchers and dog lovers alike: how dogs seem to sense changes in the weather. Many dog owners have noticed that their pets act differently before major weather events like thunderstorms, heavy rain, or even sudden shifts in temperature. While there's no concrete scientific proof that dogs can predict the weather with pinpoint accuracy, there are a few interesting theories about why they react the way they do. One of the most common explanations revolves around a dog's incredible sense of smell. We all know dogs have a nose that's way more powerful than ours, but it's mind-blowing just how finely tuned it is. For instance, before a storm rolls in, dogs can often detect changes in the air. They might smell the moisture building up before the rain starts, or even notice the change in the scent of the earth after it gets wet. It's like they have their own natural weather radar. But it's not just about smell. Dogs may also be sensitive to shifts in air pressure that happen before big weather events, like a thunderstorm. These pressure changes can mess with their sense of comfort, causing them to act nervous, anxious, or even hyperactive. You might notice your dog pacing or hiding when the weather takes a turn. It's their way of reacting to the atmospheric shifts. There's also the theory that dogs could be reacting to changes in atmospheric electricity or even shifts in the Earth's magnetic fields, especially before a storm. This could create discomfort for them, making them more anxious or restless than usual. Essentially, they're picking up on subtle environmental cues that we humans are completely oblivious to. So, whether it's their incredible nose, sensitivity to pressure changes, or ability to sense atmospheric shifts, dogs seem to have a unique connection to the natural world around them. It's one more way they remind us that their instincts are finely tuned to things we may never fully understand. 9. Imminent death. Now, let's talk about one of the most fascinating and emotional aspects of a dog's sensitivity: their ability to sense when something is wrong, even when it comes to something as profound as impending death. Many pet owners and animal behavior experts have shared stories of dogs acting in ways that seem to suggest they can sense when a loved one is nearing the end. These behaviors are often uncharacteristic, with dogs staying unusually close to their dying owner, showing signs of sadness or anxiety, or even refusing to leave their side. While we don't have definitive scientific proof of how exactly dogs can detect impending death, there are several theories that might explain what's going on. One possibility is that dogs are highly sensitive to physical changes in the body. For example, when someone is seriously ill or nearing the end of their life, they can emit certain odors or physical signals that dogs can pick up on. It's not just about smell, either. Dogs may also detect subtle changes in a person's energy or even facial expressions that signal a decline in health. Another theory is rooted in the incredible empathy that dogs have. These animals form incredibly strong emotional bonds with their owners, and this connection might help them sense the emotional state of a person who is dying. When a dog senses that their human is struggling or in pain, they may respond with empathy, showing signs of sadness, worry, or even affection in an attempt to offer comfort. Lastly, dogs are creatures of routine, and they're deeply attuned to changes in their environment. If a person's daily routine shifts drastically due to illness, like being less active or spending more time in bed, a dog will definitely notice. These changes, combined with their heightened sensitivity, may prompt them to act in ways that seem to show concern or even a kind of mourning. In short, while we may not fully understand how dogs know what they know, it's clear that their bond with us runs deep. So deep that they seem to be able to sense even the most subtle, life-changing moments. 10. Ultrasonic frequencies. Let's talk about one of the coolest and most mind-blowing abilities dogs have: their ability to hear ultrasonic frequencies. Now, as humans, we have a limit to what we can hear. We can typically pick up sounds up to about 20,000 hertz, but dogs, they can hear sounds that are way higher. Some can pick up frequencies as high as 75,000 hertz or even more. That means there's a whole world of high-pitched sounds out there that are completely invisible to us. So, where do these sounds come from? Well, ultrasonic frequencies can be produced by all sorts of things: insects buzzing around, animals communicating, or even electronics like hearing aids and alarm systems. The fascinating part is that dogs can pick up on these sounds, and it gives them an entirely different perception of the world around them. This incredible hearing ability might explain some of the quirky behaviors we see in dogs. Have you ever caught your dog staring at a blank wall or acting agitated for no clear reason? They might be hearing something we can't. Those strange, seemingly invisible sounds could be coming from something like a distant insect or even a device emitting a high-pitched noise, and your dog is reacting to it while we're completely unaware. Interestingly, this sensitivity to ultrasonic frequencies has even been put to practical use. For example, it's a huge asset in training search and rescue dogs. These dogs can hear signals or certain sounds that help them locate people or objects that would otherwise be impossible for us to detect. It's just one more way that dogs' superpowered senses give them an edge in ways we could never imagine. 11. Ultraviolet light. Here's something that might blow your mind. Dogs can see ultraviolet light. Yep, you heard that right. While we humans can only see a small portion of the light spectrum, dogs are able to perceive ultraviolet light, which is way beyond what we can detect with our eyes. Now, ultraviolet light is a type of electromagnetic radiation, kind of like visible light, but with shorter wavelengths. We don't see it directly, but it's all around us, influencing how our pets experience the world. So, how do dogs manage to see it? Well, it comes down to their eyes being built a bit differently from ours. Dogs have more rod cells in their retinas, the part of the eye that helps us see in low light. These extra-sensitive cells allow them to pick up on those ultraviolet wavelengths that we can't even imagine. So, what does this actually mean for them? For starters, dogs might be able to see things that are totally invisible to us. For example, they could potentially detect traces of urine or other bodily fluids that glow under ultraviolet light. It's kind of like a hidden layer of the world that dogs get access to, things we just can't see. They can notice details about their environment that we'd never even consider. This ability could help them track scents or read signals in their surroundings that would remain completely unnoticed by us. Imagine all the extra info they get just by being able to see in this hidden spectrum. It's another way that dogs experience the world in a far deeper, more complex way than we can even begin to grasp. 12. The cosmos. Let's dive into something a little more out there. What if dogs, with all their incredible abilities, could somehow sense the cosmos? I know it sounds pretty wild, but stick with me. The idea that dogs might have a connection to the universe, something beyond what we can even begin to understand, has fascinated animal lovers, spiritual thinkers, and curious minds for a long time. Now, there's no hard scientific proof to back up the idea that dogs are in tune with the stars, but some people truly believe that dogs have a unique sensitivity to cosmic forces and energies. These could be anything from the subtle vibrations of the universe to the influences of astral events like planetary movements or solar flares, things we can't even perceive, but that might affect how the world operates on a deeper level. A lot of folks think that dogs' intuitive natures and their deep connection with the natural world might make them more in sync with these cosmic rhythms. For example, they might be more attuned to the phases of the moon or even the changing of the seasons, two powerful forces that we know influence both nature and perhaps our pets. If you've ever noticed your dog acting a little off during a full moon or when the weather shifts, this could be part of the mystery. It's a fascinating thought, right? That maybe, just maybe, dogs could be in tune with something bigger than we can see, an energy that connects all living things, from the earth beneath their paws to the stars above their heads. We hope you enjoyed this mind-bending journey into the world of dog abilities. If you did, don't forget to give us a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more thought-provoking content. We'll see you in the next video. Take care.